up to speed, up to speed, up to speed.
Live from the apocalypse. This is Bluetooth speaker and the love above. The state of the game is here. Thank you for tuning in every week. I'm a true believer. Dano striving for balance in this raggedy soul that I have. And we, are joined as we are every week by someone with so much confidence. My co-host has so much confidence that on the 31st of October, he walked out of his house in the same outfit he wore all day, went house to house getting candy, and looked him in the eye and said, "I'm me all year." And they gave the candy up.
Absolutely.
The kids call it aura, So thank you for having me. Okay. Yep. Appreciate it. So we have a mythological organization today. It would be like if we had booked the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants or something, when I started interviewing people from Chicago, do you remember this, Kay? They were talking about our guests like, the way people talk about having been abducted by aliens. It was that tone. It was like, have you seen them? You need to see them. Have you heard this? You need to hear it. It was like, you've got to believe me. And I was like, I got to hear it. And I chased it down, and the music was just as overwhelming and fantastic as they described the live performance. And I was like, oh, that's some real shit right here. That takes us to the next level. Because I've heard plenty of great live acts that didn't have a record that sounded like it. So Tomorrow Kings is our guests here. Subliminal, I.B.Fokuz, Gilead 7, Malakh L, Collasoul Structure, Sketch 185. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
No problem.
Pleased to be here, man. Pleased to be back, I guess I should say.
Definitely. Great to have you back. Yeah, we talked to Gyroscope about the wonderful album with Iceberg Theory that people need to check out on their Bandcamp, but it's this separate occasion that would have happened anyway, but I've loved dipping into both ends of the music. So the question I would say, because when we talked to I.B.Fokuz and Collasoul Structure, they told us the kind of origin story of Tomorrow Kings, which really did feel like a scene from a movie. Like, it really felt cinematic to me. And it's possible that I've reimagined it in my brain. So I could maybe give you what's in my brain, and you guys could fix it if you want.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think this seems like there was an open mic kind of venue where everyone's performing, and everybody in the room is a killer. Everybody in the room is really good. And Sketch is sitting around, and I think whether it's Collasoul or somebody, Sketch turns and says, "What if everybody in this room was together, was a group? And can you imagine how powerful we'd be?" Is that real? Did I make that up?
That's very close. Very close. It was the regional battles for Scribble Jam.
Oh shit.
Yeah. And I was in it, a bunch of our homies were in it, and I lost my battle that year. and I proceeded to get drunk. I ran into I.B.Fokuz, and I remember, at least this part going, yo, there are like 30 to 40 albums that could be made in this room right now. You got all of these producers, you got all these rappers. None of these motherfuckers are gonna talk to each other.
Mm.
You know, they're gonna wait to go home, see people's numbers on SoundCloud or whatever, and all you know, and all of that. And all that music that could be made won't be made, more or less. Their focus took that trend and decided to put together a group and came up with some names and reached out to all of the people on, you know, in the names. And, you know, for the most part, we all said, yeah, because we all knew each other from over the years, you know, and we were all at this point friends or becoming friends. Yeah. So that's how it initially started as that before we had a name.
That's awesome. The what's really powerful to me about that story, if anyone has sat around in a competitive environment, you know, it could be a battle, could be, you know, an open mic slam competition, whatever it is, right? Bunch of artists in a room being really competitive. It gets really catty. It gets really backbiting. There, it gets like all Game of Thronesy, but with no stakes. Like you kind walk away with $50. Like everybody in the room is still busted, you know. Um, so I think it's incredibly powerful to sit there and go, what if none of that shit was going on? What if we were actually helping each other?
Mm.
It so rarely happens, Kay.
Yeah, I mean, in battle, instead of trying to look at people as competition, you're actually admiring their skill uh, in this competitive setting.
I mean, don't get me wrong. We almost killed each other a few times. Don't be, don't get it mistaken. Like there have been quarrels. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
it's like there has been like always some kind of like, even if it's like a very very mild like head butting aspect to it, because we all have like strong personalities. We are all incredibly like creative, and our minds are all a little bit wacky and crazy. So it's like things do clash, but it tends to work together and mesh more than clash, if that
Yeah.
makes any sense. So
I remember I battled Malakh twice before all of this.
Yep.
You know, yeah, at this thing called at the spot called Rancho Luna. So like it's so that was always that was a part of it. You know,
I forgot about
yeah,
Rancho Luna.
yeah, man. And me and Gilead Seven battle. Well, I battled everybody. That was
Yep. That yeah,
yeah.
makes sense.
Me and Il Subliminal actually one of the first times we really hung out was after a battle tournament at UIC.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I remember that.
That's awesome. And
And
I was a
the
part of
weird
it.
thing about that time period also, because everybody was really competitive. It was like mid 2000s in Chicago. I think somewhere between late registration and graduation. Unfortunately, marking it with that guy's albums. But there were a lot of people who, there were like haves and have nots. There were, cool kids. There were, a lot of artists who were like, you know, actually going regional at that point, right? But there was a lot of local artists who were just as talented but didn't have the same connections, not realizing, just to go back to, sketches, like idea at the beginning is if we all just work together and all of this productivity will happen as opposed to competing with each other, you know. And it took a little while. It took a little while of us, being at different open mics, being at, different battles and whatnot, to realize like, okay, maybe fighting isn't gonna be what gets it. Maybe actually just working together, which seems like a simple concept, but you got to get out of your own ego's way in order to do that. Something else that kind of happened, like I often think about this, like how the Avengers came together, just because it was like a huge situation that only they could all deal with together. A mutual friend or mutual friends of the Cruz and Sketch happened to come up on a party spot. Like, what was it, like summer of 2008, 2009?
Yes, sir.
2008, 2009,
Needed
yeah.
security,
08.
yeah.
Yep.
Needed security.
07, I think,
And
really.
It might have
Right?
been,
yeah,
might
but
have been
we all
07.
but we were the only people who were like, when we looked around, it was like, all right, we can handle this, right? And then we started working together from that, and working together from that summer, we was like, oh, we actually work well together, So that was definitely a catalyst moment, I think, at that undisclosed location that we don't talk about.
Yeah.
Sure. And I mean, that's
It's like
that.
it's like just someone just say this real quick. No, I mean just to add into all of what's been said, it's like there certainly was that element of, we as individuals before we came together as a collective, we were like, well, this is what we do, and we do it, and we do it in the ways in which we do it, and we believe we do it well. And those clashes when we would get into stuff, not in terms of the members of the crew, but even kind of, like when me and Sketch battled, but that was when we was crew when we battled. But then when I know when Malakh and Sketch went in, we weren't crew. But there was a thing about it where there were many people in that scene who got hung up on that battle shit, and that was their identity. And there was something about us where we did it. Well, okay, I'll say, I mean, Sketch and Malakh are some of the greatest freestylers in the world.
Right.
They would do that and whoop your ass and just have no ego after it.
But you too. You too.
Objectively.
Respect.
Yeah, Gilead 7 is an amazing freestyler.
Right.
Flat out.
Respect.
And it's on YouTube.
It's out there. It's out there. But no,
It lives forever.
It's an important point, like, to talk about, like, you have a battle scene, you have everybody battling, and it does steel sharpen steel, as the phrase goes. But steel sharpen steel in that sense takes you from an okay team to a 50 games a season winning team, right? But like, it doesn't get you the chip, right? Because you're still not really working for the same goal, When you are together and you're making an album together and you're actually trying to help each other to the same goal, that's a different kind of focus. It's a different kind of strength.
True. Very true. And I think that, something that often gets like undercut or just, kind of put off to the side is, there's a lot of people who are like good freestylers. There's, people who are great freestylers. There are very few people who walk around on this earth who can freestyle and songwrite. And to me, that's usually like the missing link, because to be able to connect through storytelling and through, actually being able to bring a crowd in outside of just like the live razzle dazzle, a lot of people don't have that. It's the same as a basketball player who can like play on the concrete in the playground and cross everybody, but can't run a play in a game situation,
Right.
And that's something that, when we looked around and we realized that we could all work together, we realized we could all be together on that level too. Because there's lots of people who try to like crew up or whatever, but not being able to do that is just, that's the main disconnect, and I think we were very lucky just to realize that, we were able to work on that level.
Yeah. I mean, it's what in my scene with my open mic, I started to resent the ciphers because I was like, none of y'all are going to the studio. Y'all are gonna cipher, smoke, and go home. Like, and this is where is this going? You know, it made me angry a little bit.
Yeah. Chicago has a version of that. Yeah.
Yep. So it's, but yeah, that's super critical. I wanted to do something that was interesting to me, where anybody can jump in and kind of espouse the superpowers of another member. Uh, but I want to kick off. I want to kick off because I don't want to ask y'all to do anything that I haven't led the way with. Um, and I'm gonna pick a person and talk about it just a little bit in the sense that, and you guys can chime in, discuss it. What I would say is studying for this and studying the crew as I have, I've become an immense Colossal Structure fan. Immense. Like, so two things, right?
Thank you. Thank you.
Two things.
I'm in
First,
agreement.
yes. Two things. First is he has the impossible groove of like, I don't know, Booty Brown or somebody for like Far Side shit, like where it's there's a swing to structure. There's a swing to his voice that makes the song 10 to 20% better because he's there. So
Yeah.
that's pretty awesome. You know, the swing would make me happy enough. But the second is he still has those fuck you up rewindable lines where you're like, whoa, stop the swing. Go back. What the fuck did he just say?
Yeah.
And the combination of
Exactly.
those two is incredibly special to me. And so I wanted to start out by giving those flowers.
Oh man, thank you so much, man. Thank you immensely. Thank you for the love.
Man, he ain't never lied, man. I mean, Rob, sometimes be like, I don't know how you did what you did on these verses. And see, it's not just even the songs. I mean, the songs, yes, but do not sell yourself short on the freestyle, sir. Not at all. Not at all. So
I'll
yeah.
tell you this.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
Like for me, anytime I know we're doing a Tomorrow Kings album, I'm like, I have to compete with every single one of these guys. I have to say something that people will at least rewind back because I know they're gonna bring it every time. I know Sketch will, I know Malakh will, I know IB will, I know Subliminal will, I know Gilead will every single time. So I have to always try to beat them to it. Like I gotta say something good enough to pierce someone's heart because I know they're gonna do it anyway.
I'm
So I'm like, I have to
I'm gonna
try.
say this.
Right.
I'm gonna say this
Yeah,
on record. I think that Colossal Structure is probably the most like balanced of all of us as far as like his like just MC repertoire, you know. And it's definitely something that, you know, I think keeps all of us sharp and, you know, something that also just is wonderful to listen to. So I'm glad that you recognize that.
I don't want to break your thought and your philosophy and how you want this to roll.
Mhm.
And it can roll organically because I think you're kind of putting it out there like that.
Yeah. Totally.
But I'll be remiss if I don't speak on Colossal Structure because as we talked about the origin story of Tomorrow Kings, I've always been trying to start a crew, and Colossal knows this.
Mhm.
I've been always attempting to start a crew, and Tomorrow Kings just happened to be the one that like that was the one that made sense, that everybody connected and made sense. But before Tomorrow Kings was even a thought, I tried to start a crew a long time ago, and I invited a certain amount of MCs to my mom's basement where I was making beats, and Collasoul was one of those individuals. Everybody knows of the group I was in, Reverse Gravity with PJ,
Mhm.
who was also um, an amazing MC. But after everybody left, I knew that Collasoul was the one that like I needed to rock with. Like that was and that's the earlier stages. That's like us very immature, like in our style and just like figuring it out. Like this is before we really understood tone and cadence and breath control and recording and all of those different things. But it was a rawness at that time that like you know who got it. You know who was hungry for it. And Collasoul was the one that like I knew he was hungry for it. And he had that same ambition and will that I had. And so that ultimately turned into Gyroscope out of that meeting of trying to build a crew. And so that was deeply rooted in us meeting these other individuals that we call our brothers in arms. That's on this call right now.
That's beautiful. No, yeah. And that's I definitely anybody can chime in on anybody else's. That's totally great. And yeah, nobody more fitting to talk than IB.
Yeah, if y'all don't mind me adding, like, with Colossal structure, the one thing that's always been amazing to me is he figures out a completely different way of approaching every subject.
Thank you.
Not even like the perspective, like it will match having a dramatically different perspective with a completely different flow than all of us and than what he did previously.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and he does this every single time.
Yep.
He's
Without
an
fail.
envelope pusher.
You know, which is pretty crazy. Because we all try our best to switch up. But he manages every single time, no matter what you're doing, to come in a way that none of us figured he would he would, which is an insane thing for an MC. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. No, there's plenty of very successful rappers who pick a delivery and just do it. You know what I mean? And just keep doing it. And the ability to bounce and when Structure's talking about like I got to raise my game doing a Tomorrow Kings album, raise your game in the right way. You find the best in your toolkit. You're not trying to fit in, right? And that's exactly how somebody should approach raising their game, right? Raise the stakes of what you do well.
I'll tell you this, man, and I gotta say, man, I'm very, very humbled. I was about to get real emotional, so I gotta chill. It's like it means so much to me to hear this from all you guys. Obviously, like these brothers we on this call with, I have known for almost 20 years. Like I feel like these are the greatest writers in the world. I don't care who everyone else thinks is the best, they are the best. So to hear that from them, that means everything to me. I don't have to get it from no one else but these guys. These dudes tell me that I was great on this song or on this album, then I am. You know what I mean? I believe it. That means everything to me. I gotta tell you, like, a few things. I'm gonna bounce around real quick. Like, I.B.Fokuz to me is one of the most daring, most fearless writers I've ever met in my life. I knew he was ill when he was rocking LRG in high school and nobody else was wearing that shit. I was like, this dude on some other shit. I need to fuck with him. I know for sure we knew Malakh L was an absolute incredible MC when this dude freestyled and he put together literally a whole song just freestyling off his head. And his writing is even better. Like an immense talent. The dude got it. He's had it since he was an embryo. You know what I mean? Gilead 7, one of the most smartest people I've ever met on the planet. He's the only guy I know with 3 master's degrees in philosophy.
And we was at the graduation.
Exactly. A theologian in the flesh. Subliminal, honestly, is one of the coolest motherfuckers on the planet for several reasons. He understands rhythm better than anybody else, and actually, I learned a lot from him. A hell of a poet, and I don't know anybody who just gets it right away and has the ear for interesting sounds like him. Sketch 185, everyone's favorite writer. No one else could write better.
Right.
Again, I'm not gonna name any names. I love everybody else, but Sketch is the writer everyone is afraid of. He's a rapper that when he shows up in the room, everybody's fucking terrified. I guarantee that.
And
We've
it's been
seen
like that for decades.
decades.
For real.
Trust me.
Decades.
Whether it's in Chicago, whether it's in New York, Boston, the West Coast, outside of the country, they know it's him when he shows up.
Facts.
I just wanted to say
Yeah, man.
that.
I love that. Great breakdown. Great breakdown. Anybody?
I'm a comic book nerd, so real quick, I'll say it like this: like, Malakh is probably the Gambit of the crew. You know, is anything he touches, light on fire. He also, what I'm saying, sneak in and out your house. Like, don't, hopefully he ain't stealing nothing. You know what I'm saying? Gilead to me is like, like Nightcrawler, but also with like telekinetic power or something. Like it's crazy. Like it's just, but only Nightcrawler when he did that stint of Spider-Man, almost like that, just amazing, but also teleport. Like he'll be in Mexico one day, he'll be in Minnesota the next. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't know where he's just gonna pop up on you, and then lay a Bible verse, and then give you some pimpology at the same time. Like you don't know what you're gonna get. So like Gilead Savage, just next level philosophy.
Oh, that's so much facts right there.
True, very true.
I think of I.B.Fokuz just with the beats and the rhymes, like basically like Cyclops, but when Cyclops went rogue, like went evil, like when he said F what Charles Xavier is on, and he just started just like laser blasting everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like with Dark Phoenix mode, like that's what I.B.Fokuz, but like still like totally like, all right, I have a vision and this is what it's gonna go down. I don't care if we gotta fight the Avengers. I don't care. This is what's gonna happen. And my people gonna be free. Like that's what I.B.Fokuz is to me. You know what I'm saying? Colossal structure is Colossus, but like with the Crimson Dawn of Sidorak, like Juggernaut mode, like you can't stop them. Sketch is our Wolverine, and Wolverine is a person who will take out a Sentinel by himself.
Right.
And everybody is like, I think of Sketch when Wolverine got taken by the hand and he started assassinating people. That's what I think of when I think Sketch 185. It's a dangerous individual. Like you basically just want to make sure he chill and that he ain't angry. That's pretty much, you know what I'm saying? Because if he is, you got a problem. So, yeah, and I'm very, very blessed and fortunate to be a part of this collective. You know what I'm saying? So, like, yeah, that's just as far as the superpowers is concerned. Because I think
So where are you in the crew?
So,
What's
man,
Doctor Strange. I'm gonna say it. I'm sorry. I'm gonna jump in there. I'm gonna say Doctor Strange. I'm gonna just put that right out there, but just with some groove and some funk in it, and obviously way more melanin. You feel me?
I feel that.
That's really accurate. There's a psychedelic element with everything mixed in with Subliminal, I'll say. Now, it's a different album. On our first record, Robert Davis and the Robots, the song on there, Robert Davis and the Robots, I can't listen to his verse without crying every single time. And it's something that, it's a delivery that he did on there and the way he put everything together, no matter what, it makes me emotional by the time I get to the 16th bar. And it's something that just no other rapper could do. And it's his style. There's a lot of detail, there are layers. The rhythm is a certain way. He has jazz timing with it all. And he manages to put a lot of things into a verse without making it seem like it was a lot. Like it's incredibly effortless in a certain way. Like it almost reminds me of it has a jagged element in it where it kind of reminds me of Cecil Taylor, if you're familiar with the way he plays piano.
Sure.
It's like that in rap form. It's insane.
So,
Even the way he recorded that verse, I mean, that just, yeah, the layering of it all, I mean, just like the technique of it and how the verse, is talking about traveling in time, and Ill's verse, it sounds like that. It literally sounds like you're in a time warp, like you're in a vortex going back and forth between different eras. Because you are, but it's not just what he's saying; it's the way in which the sonics played out, and that's not like engineering, Deshaun O. But what happens in that verse is happening beyond the level of just mixing, because it's ill.
The fact that we on ill right now, it's twofold for me when it comes to ill Subliminal. And I know I've shared this in so many ways to him, but I don't think ill Subliminal knows how important he is to me in my life. Because it's very personal when you talk about ill Subliminal for me, but also the inspiration. The personal aspect is that Tomorrow Kings wouldn't exist if ill Subliminal wasn't who he is. Yes, I was the one that had the opportunity to be amongst these great brothers and be able to like recognize the talent that was around us to assemble it. But if it wasn't for ill Subliminal being able to see something in me and in Collasoul, we would have never been in an environment to be able to meet these other brothers. And so like also too, like not only Tomorrow Kings, but like just the opportunities that I was afforded, the people I was able to meet, and those people able to give me an opportunity that actually helped me feed my family is because of ill Subliminal. Where I'm at right now is because of ill Subliminal. And so like I'm forever indebted to ill Subliminal. Ill Subliminal is somebody I'll die for. Ill Subliminal is somebody that really truly is the root and foundation of Tomorrow Kings. And I probably never said that out loud, but that is more than a fact. Ill Subliminal's talent and skill is to be able, like the way that he was able to break us down comic book wise shows how his talent is so valuable, because he's able to see everybody's energy level. He's able to see everybody's talent before they even show it. And when they do show it, he's the one that could be able to certify it. Like, is it certified or not? He can see that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's so many layers about how important ill Subliminal is to the Chicago scene. Anybody that knows ill Subliminal knows how important he is. Like when I first seen ill Subliminal perform, and Collasoul and Malakh know where I'm coming from because I'm going back to 917. When I seen this brother on some poetry / rap / boom, like beatbox, when he came in and just started doing his thing, I'm like, what the hell is that? This place 917 I was blessed to meet Malakh. I was blessed to meet Drunken Monkey. I was blessed to meet Amun Mirage. I was blessed to meet Ill Subliminal, Ugly. And that was me and Rob's introduction to the scene. It wasn't the full in-depthness of what Chicago was on the scene, but it was our introduction because this was the moment where we spent too much time in my mom's basement, like loading up the clips and like going through the range and shooting and practicing our aim. Now we got to get on the battlefield and see how does it measure up to everybody else. Ill Subliminal is one of those individuals that when I seen his style and his approach, it gave me perspective.
Yeah.
I mean this in the most purest sense, and I know my brother's gonna know what I mean by this. Ill Subliminal is the old dirty bastard of our crew.
Oh, I love that shit.
And I mean that in the purest sense, not the crazy wild shit, but it's just like it's more of he is unorthodox, but true with intention. And so, like, I could get emotional just talking about Ill Subliminal. And I just when I was in my darkest days, it was Ill Subliminal that told me I need to learn how to smell the flowers. I was in my most depressive moment. You know what I'm saying? So like I'm forever indebted to Ill Subliminal.
That's awesome. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I feel that deeply. Like when I was involved in the open mic scene, poetry wise, uh, I was very good at what I did. I did what I did on stage, but I was also kind of in charge of the chatter, right? Like the positive chatter with people, having long, in-depth conversations about where they wanted pieces to go or what they could do or what they could change or why something didn't work. Just kind of buzzing. You know what I mean? Buzzing about what was going on around me. Uh, and it helped things, it helped things. So I think when you have a collective like that, somebody's got to be, yeah. And ODB was that. He was bringing positive chatter, right? To everybody. So I think that makes so much sense. And touching grass is a very important part of Tomorrow King's history. Um, and there are people now who it's one of my concerns about rap now because it is so easy to become a successful bedroom artist, right? That makes your own beats, makes produce your own stuff, does your own album cover, you put it out, you never tour, you don't hit stage, you don't communicate with people. Um, as people who were touching grass professionally, what is that kind of bedroom artist missing from the rest of the toolkit?
Honestly, there's
Passion.
something. You said passion. I think there's something about the electricity of being in the room
Mm,
when you do something that changes how you do it. Like, everybody's a genius until they're around other rappers. Everybody has a great flow until they have to do it on stage. Everybody is interested at charisma until they're around other people, you know, in that same field. And sometimes what you do stands up. Sometimes you show up and come to find out you're that dude. Most times it's not. But either way it goes, there's this thing about being there. The temperature of the room, the movement of the room, the rhythm of it all. The thing that happens when something dope happens. And that unified moment. That especially if you're a rapper, not just a fan, the moment when you're on stage and it could go real left, it could go well. But you go. And those things that change when a line connects with the crowd or flow connects with the crowd, or all of a sudden you're in that comfort zone, or if you really at it, you black out on stage and next thing you know, the song's done and people are giving you props. Those are things you can't get at home. Those are things you can't get from an email. Those are things you can't get from likes. Like that's and something, and the positive and negative versions build something to you. It tells you how to deal with anxiety. It tells you how to deal with ego.
Yes.
It grounds you. And they don't have that because they haven't been involved in that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's one of my concerns is that like you have as a creative person, you can be overconfident, you can be underconfident, right? You can hate your own shit to a point where you're the only one who does, right? And you can love your own shit to the point where you're the only one who does, and you can get in your head about whether this thing is good or bad. But if you perform it for a room full of strangers and they're on their feet, that's real feedback. You know what I mean? Uh, that's real feedback. So it's it takes you out of the insular world that can kind of create mental health issues, right? If you're locked in with your art all alone, it's good to have people to relieve that. You know?
Crew, do y'all mind if I say something real quick about gyroscope
Yeah,
at
go.
917? It was something that's
Please.
very important to like the development of Tomorrow Kings. Well, they know like I wasn't the biggest fan of 917. I think that there was some incredible artists there. And it wasn't because they weren't incredible artists. It was specifically the way I felt that Gyroscope got treated. The reason I say this is that you had rappers there. They were cool, they were nice, they were soulful. They were mostly doing shit that everybody else had did. Then Gyroscope got on and they were better rappers, better writers, better performers by
Way more
such a
original.
large margin that it put them on the edges and the people there didn't fully know how to handle it.
Yep.
And when me and my boy low key went there and saw them, we realized that they were too big for this place. They were too left field for this place. And like I apologize if I'm dissing, those guys too crazy, but it was something where it was seeing them deal with that was something that every single one of us had dealt with in different environments. Where we were
Yeah.
too much
I
of
remember.
something for the people we were supposed to be associated with.
Right.
Right.
Which was one of the
And
things that brought us all
During
together. Because we fit
during
well
that
together,
time,
but we didn't fit well with everybody else.
especially at that open mic, it was so many people who were just trying to do like, just neo soul or just, try to be cool and try to get phone numbers like any open mic, right?
Right.
And these dudes and most of the people who were going to that open mic did not live in that neighborhood. These dudes stayed down the street. And they came into this open mic with like some of the most potent, raw hip hop just from responding to living, off of 79th and Cottage, right? Which is one of the most craziest areas in the city of Chicago. But like they didn't necessarily sound like what you would expect from somebody who lived in the area. Like you think of, like early drill or whatever. Like they weren't doing that. They were doing like very original genre pushing hip hop.
Yeah.
And it was just like, oh my God. And so like the audience didn't know what to do with that because they were just all trying to have like their, Black Lily, neo soul, whatever, thing, which is, cool if you're trying to get numbers or whatever, but like they were actually trying to say something. And, looking around, and also a lot of those people didn't really go to other open mics. It was a siloed type thing where it's like, all right, this is our open mic, this is our church, whatever they're doing over there, we're not really worried about that. But the cool thing about Malakh, the cool thing about, me, we all seen each other at different spots in the city. So we knew that there was different things that were happening. And seeing I.B.Fokuz, seeing Collasoul Structure, we was like, all right, we got to get y'all up out of here because this is only going to hinder you. You got to see something else. You got to be somewhere else, just so that you can know that there's other things going on. you know. So,
And that's kind of and that's kind of like what it is, because all of us, that nine. I mean, even like because 917 is one move, and I never got any love there. I used to go there and just like put on like Celtic harps and rap over. People would look at me like I was insane, which is fine because I am. Um, but it's something about all of us, as Sketch was saying, as Ill saying, and I just want to side note. Subliminal is the reason I knew about gyroscope because
Right.
I was somewhere and you were like, you got to hear these, you got to hear these two dudes gyroscope, and he played them, and I'm like, what the fuck?
Right.
Met them. I met them at this high school, and this never used to happen. I mean, I was affiliated with YCA, but I never worked at YCA. YCA is Young Chicago Authors. It is a writing nonprofit that sponsors a lot of youth who are getting into poetry. And so I was never some Tomorrow King members worked there one time. I never did. But somehow I got from somebody at YCA about doing a Dr. King Day show at this school. I think it was Orr High School on the west side.
Yeah.
And so this is after Subliminal had already told me about who Gyroscope was. And so I'm there and I'm sitting next to these two dudes, and I'm like, yeah, peace, I'm Gilead. And then they say I'm Collasoul Structure, I'm I.B.Fokuz, and Gyroscope. I'm like, y'all Gyroscope, and then Ryan looked at me like all cold, like, yeah. And I said, okay, all right. I came.
That's because I was always on some gangster shit all the time.
And you had every right to be.
All the time.
exactly.
You had every right to be. And when you responded that way, I withdrew into myself. I said, okay, cool.
Right.
I see we on work. No problem. No problem at all. So then we heard each other rap, and after that it was just mutual respect. It was just like, yeah, it literally it just fell together. But I mean, I'm saying all of this to say is that Gyroscope nor I, just like at 917, we didn't fit into that. We didn't fit into that. We would show up and we'd show out, then we'd leave, and we didn't fit into that. But everybody in TK experience. I really don't think there was a place in Chicago we did fit in. We never fit in anywhere. We just kind of showed up at places, and that's what brought us together.
Yep.
Yeah.
And not only were we outliers, we had a camaraderie that did stretch back some years because we all knew each other and knew of each other.
That makes sense. Malakh, what's going on? Oh, you're on mute.
My fault. Yeah. So I have, I kind of have a parallel frame of reference, right? Like, so I was really a part of Gilead and Sharif would know because they were there too, right? Like, so to kind of connect things to what seems to be a recurring theme in the things that we discussed in this evening, right? Like we all, up until the moment it was crystallized in word, right? Like we all understood that there was a higher function for these things that we could do. You know what I mean? Like, so a person wouldn't necessarily say, hey, I could fight really well, or I could dodge bullets, or, you wouldn't say it, but it was insinuated every time it was time to convey the art. Now, how that plays into this parallel reference, since we talk about 917, we going down this road, man, it was a funny thing. So in terms of Gilead's point about being outliers, it was a very excellent word to describe it. Because we're talking about in terms of like just setting the stage, right? Like we're talking about an era or a post era, if we want to get like real technical. We're talking about a post era where underground Chicago crews was a thing. And to get into one, you had to battle everybody in that crew to get into it. And none of us was in any of those. I think Sketch was in one, but again, that was pre-crew. But nonetheless, I say that to say that there was a certain thing you had to have. You know what I'm saying? Like you had to have it. So what what was being described in my interpretation in terms of the quote unquote scene. I always put quotes up because we could, that's a whole nother, right? Like
Right.
what I get out of that is everybody was looking for a way to kind of, I guess, represent their own uniqueness or speciality, right? But you you could see the difference between those who are doing it for like vanity or like self-esteem or just personal development versus, again, going back to my original premise, people who understood there's a higher function for these things that we doing. So, I just want to take a moment to give a shout out to the people that I know influenced that scene
Mm.
that we all cross paths in. My big brothers, Oron Kenyatta Dread and Tony 720 Collins. Um, because a lot of what was going on at that scene, and Sharif and John definitely know, was a replication or a derivative
Yeah.
of what they brought to a table, and what they was doing was derivative of what Last Poets brought to the table. You know what I
Mm.
mean? Like,
Mm.
so it's what the picture that I'm trying to paint here is, you know, the zebras gonna kick it with the zebras. The prophets
Right.
gonna kick it with the prophets. You understand what I'm saying? Like, it
Yeah.
was that type of thing. So the people who understood it was a higher function, they did what molecules do. You know what I'm saying? They bounced off each other and made it work. Pause. Um, but that's that. I'm gonna mute up now.
No, that makes sense. That was good context. And it makes sense. Like, it just time passes really fast when you're really focused on what you're doing, you know? So you start out as outliers and everybody's, looking at you wild. And then you look up and there's a bunch of people who are trying on your style, you know? And you're like, holy shit, I guess I influenced that, you know? Um, and now, at this phase where it's like you're looking around and, you know, I Curly Castro is on Salt. I don't think he would be the same MC without y'all.
Yeah, Castro has said as much to us, which was pretty crazy. I think he was just getting back into it, and I heard us on UGS Mag. He reached out to us to be on this project, Destroy and Debuild. And we've always built with him since then. What's funny is when we were talking about who's going to be on the record, he was the one person we knew definitely had to be on the album.
Oh yeah, had to be, on there. Love that guy so much, man.
Yeah,
Actually, shout out to him and Premrock, Shrapnel.
yeah,
Love them guys.
so definitely great
Amazing
dudes.
dudes.
For real.
Yeah.
I, I I definitely know that we spoke a lot about certain individuals, but we didn't get through the whole crew. And I want to definitely make sure that everybody's honored in this
Sure.
space with that question, because that I really appreciate that question, first of all, Dan, because you actually are getting an origin story. Like, you're getting more of an origin story based on that question
Mm-hmm.
than maybe anybody else. So like, this is going to be a powerful just interview within itself,
Yeah.
because you're getting the nuances of how we met and where our mentalities was at. I'm going to just from, because I know we touched on Collasoul. I know Subliminal broke down everybody, Collasoul broke down everybody, but we still got a couple of more members in the crew.
Let's do
I'm
it.
going to definitely like pivot, and everybody could kind of follow suit with that and move on to the next person. But I'm gonna pivot to Malakh L. Malakh L is the sharpshooter, man. Like, if it comes down to like, hey, I need this person taken out.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if I need accurate, you know what I'm saying, aim, if it's anybody I gotta call where I'm gonna get an accurate shot and we ain't talking about it tomorrow, it's
Right.
just over and done. That's Malakh L, man. Like, when you talk about, like, and this is like sports analogy, like, but when you talk about people coming into the clutch, Like when it comes to the game winning shot,
Mhm.
that's my belief in this brother.
Oh, that
He's
makes
going,
sense.
he's going to come through every time, every time. And sometimes because we hold that bar high for him, we'll push him even more. He'll come with something, we be like, nah, we know what you capable of. And that's not to say that what he said is whack, because what he delivered to us is still better than everybody.
Mm-hmm.
But we have such a standard for each other
Right.
that we push each other so hard that he just smiles and say, "Okay, I got you. I got you." But he's the sharpshooter of the crew. So I've always had a high respect for him, because in any environment, and I think that also too, I think to recognize Malakh, he's one of the most versatile artists of the crew, because of he can sing, he could rap, he could do poetry, he could do a lot of different things. So he's very, very versatile. So he could fit in very many different fabrics and approaches and avenues. So I'll kick it off there. People can take it wherever they want to take it.
That was well done.
Yo, yeah, I'm gonna do that because I'm gonna feel like a prick if I don't. Because for one, I can't take a compliment for shit. Like I am
That's fair.
terrible at it.
Yeah, I'm with you.
So first and
You better
foremost,
you go take something today. Let's just say that.
yeah. we
You gonna get
gonna
this
talk
work.
about that later. We gonna thank you. I know I ain't the only one, but nah, I definitely, and this because we all got, when you got a collective, time is also a member of that collective. You know what I'm saying? Like, so there's a time when me, Collasoul, IB, we was in proximity more frequently, right? Then there was a time when me and Sketch was in proximity more frequently. Me and John, me and got Sharif. I got ready to call Sharif Sketch. That's hilarious.
Mhm.
Um, but I say that to say this though. I wild out over any of my bros, man. And the thing that is impressive about the whole scene, and I'm isolating a minute, but the thing that's impressive about the whole scene is the mission, man. Like we care so much about the purpose of what it is we doing that we let that also be a member of the crew, right? Like the mission is a member. Like so when it don't sound right, ain't nobody in their feelings about it. Like it don't sound right. Yeah, no, we're not doing that. You know
Right.
what I mean? Um, and the thing that you know, because of all the things that I.B.Fokuz said, a thing that I have uh, 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 a complicated, not impossible, but a complicated time with is crystallizing a vision. I.B.Fokuz know how to crystallize a vision. I be calling him Barry Gordy
Mhm.
because it's a look. You know what I'm saying? It's a behavior. You know what I'm saying? Like when he is clear on what he want a thing to do and what it's supposed to look like, he not stopping.
Right.
Like now he may not necessarily be extra aggro about it, but it's you got to pay attention to the face, right? Like if it's that, you gonna know. But if it's not that, he gonna be like super quiet and chill. Like, okay, so you think you could do like 8 more bars, but more mean though? You know what I'm saying? Like he's gonna find a way to get it there, man. And in a creative process, in a universe where creators are hypersensitive a majority of the time, it's a skill to know how to collaborate effectively. And I think that's I.B.Fokuz secret power. Like, dude, I got checks from McDonald's because of this guy. You understand what I'm saying? Like, like,
Yeah.
like seriously,
A fact.
on the
A
business
fact.
level. You understand what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
like, yeah, when it comes to this thing, man, yeah, it's very tight knit, and it's a reason because everybody can't be here, man. Like Sketch has a song, and I talk about this without fail. Like this year, I probably talked about this ad nauseum. But I'm gonna do it again.
Mhm.
He got a song called The appropriate time to give a fuck. Am I saying the title right, Sketch? Okay, so
Yeah, that's the title. Yeah.
and just using that as, you know, a prime example, right? Like to me, it's hard for me to believe your intentionality with art if you've never had a struggle with depression ever. Like, I just don't believe you. You understand what I'm saying? Like, if your shit been peaches and cream the whole time,
Mm.
whatever your formula is, go for it. I don't believe it. You know, there's a touch of reality that I'm gonna be looking for that's never gonna be there. But in those darker times, man, like when I'm in the car and it's just a bad day, I turn on appropriate time and give a fuck. And I'm feeling way better by the end of that thing, man. Like we got to do it again. So, you know, there's a secret sauce to blending these words and the frequencies that affect human thought and behavior. And I would say that Sketches thing. You know what I mean? Like we definitely cover Collasoul. And I know like John, last thing, and I'm gonna shut up. I'm gonna shut up. My fault. Me, John, and Sharif, like when I met these guys, I'm gonna do two in one, right? Like I never knew John had certain, you know, complexities with public speaking, right? When he rapping, you would never know they were there. You know what I'm saying? Like I remember the day all three of us rapped in front of each other. It was a bunch of people in this cipher, but I remember those guys. You know what I mean? Like Sharif was unapologetically indifferent. And John was just as far out going get. You know what I mean? Like just
Right.
we there, you know. So like, yeah, nah. These guys, they know. I didn't got checked a few times because I'll be ready to turn up when it comes to them. But I'm gonna shut up.
No, great.
On that gangster shit.
Let me jump in there real quick. Now I gotta give L like mad flowers, yo. Like, because like everybody like in terms of our chronology, I met Malakh first. I want to say, L, I think I met you in like '99, right? And it's Some Like It Black. Yeah, that's right. When it was on 19th in Michigan. And it was just so crazy because it was this dude rhyming who was hosting like and he after the whole thing was over, he came to the little Cyprus. It was like me, dude, Malakh. And then like Malakh just took it over and just start killing and just kind of like blew the other dude out. And I'm like, who is this dude? And so then we start building me and Malakh. Then he was like, hold up. Hold on one second. Some juke music came on, and Malakh started just doing his dancing. I'm like, this brother do everything. Word, you know. And then I got to meet him. I got to see him more, you know, in different places, not only in those sectors of Subterranean, which was a Tuesday night open mic, and in terms of like the ciphers and the open mics, he was one of the best people there, if not the best MC of the night. Who was out there, and then we got together. We just got to know each other a whole lot, and we done been through some very interesting situations, you know, throughout the years. But I've always admired the skill level that he brought to the table, and not just with the emceeing, but with his understanding of certain elements of history. You know, certain elements of our history, certain elements of, you know, physics, metaphysics, various things like that. And so when I did my first full-length record, The Dark Room, he was on that record. And he did an incredible work on a song called Black Hole, where was saying, was kind of describing the world, Earth as a black hole, you know. And so and then we got to grow, but, you know,
Gilead, you just became a robot. What happened?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Yo.
what happened? I'm here.
Android
You
killer,
back?
Still be in the
Android
car.
killer.
Stop.
Yeah, he might still
Hey,
be in the car.
anything I said?
Like just the last
Y'all
piece.
didn't think I said?
But yeah, for the most part, we got you.
Yeah, we got
Okay.
the I think from that incredible segment. I appreciate that, and I think it's good because when you have this many people, the music can be overwhelming and people cannot, you know, it's hard to pick out all the pieces, you know. So I'm glad we got a chance to do that and really set that level. Uh, from there to Salt. Kay, how much Tomorrow Kings did you listen to? Did you listen to Time Machine? Did you listen to did you
Yeah, I listened to Time Machine and Industrial Music, and then Salt.
Nice. How did you feel about the evolution towards the revolution here towards Salt?
Evolution to it. I like that. I felt like if we're talking about Salt specifically,
Yeah.
I felt like compared to the other pieces, it really matches the times that we're in. I feel like the tone and the mood of the album really kind of matches where we're at as a nation in 2025.
Yep.
Yeah, thank you for that. Yeah, like that's what we like. It was one of those things that we kept worrying about because when we were working on the record, it felt, it felt at the time. As time went on, and we figured the message would stick, but like the fact that it's so pitch perfect for right now, there was no way to know. I guess we saw kind of where things were going, but it's still kind of trippy to see how much everything lines up still.
Right.
When did you start working on this project?
We started really working on it summer 2025, 2020.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
During
So
the
right at the
pandemic.
start of COVID.
During the pandemic, it was Trump's first term, wasn't it?
Yeah.
At the end, yeah. But it still was. It was,
Yep.
something very urgent, but also, siloing about having to record this, just in our respective places.
Right, right. No, that makes sense. And to me, Kay, listening to it, like Time Machine is one of my favorite group rap albums, and it's very smart, but it is still an I will beat your ass record. Like it is still very much, me and my crew have the energy and the time to put you down, right? Like
Yeah.
that's a part of the energy of that record. So to go to Salt,
Important.
Salt is maturation where it's like, what are we doing to ourselves? Right? Like what is in us? What are we putting in us? Why are we doing this? Uh, I put hot sauce in my body bag, like, you know, it's it's crazy. So that it's just I think it's part of it is the process of growing up and how you think about the world. You can hear that.
Definitely.
Most definitely. I mean, like guys in the crew are married and fathers and teachers and business owners, and we've matured in our craft, and more so we have more perspective now.
Mhm.
Like a lot of the ideas that we had when we were younger have a little more patina on them. We know how to approach it, in a more masterful way. It's one of the beauties of growth. You deal with the fact that like people used to talk about rapping when you got older like it was negative, but we're writers, you know,
Mm.
and writers get better over time because they have more shit to talk about because they lived more. And I think that's kind of where we are. But we're also the type where we used to be like, yo, we'll fight you. Now we too old to fight. We just grab a pistol.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
100% fact, actually. Still on that gangster shit,
And
actually.
I say that as a I say it mostly as a metaphor because like it just means we're more focused. We're more deadly. You're not swinging hoping it'll hit you. We know it's gonna hit
Mm.
Right. Yeah. One and
One.
oh, go ahead, Il.
Just real
Go
quick.
ahead.
I just want to say this. Shout out to AOA for those beats because it was interesting living through the pandemic as we all experienced, right? But it's having the outlet and the therapy of listening to these beats and being able to still build with my brothers and come up with concepts and be able to write these songs, and while knowing he was going through his own version of the pandemic, in Australia, where like they were dealing with like mass fires and stuff, you know, and just like everybody was obviously going through a crazy time then, which has evolved into now. But yeah, like him just being able to put these sounds together, send them to us, and be able to work with us on the other side of the planet, I think is a testament to just how dope this album is. And and also the people who were featured on there. Obviously we already brought up Curly Castro. Thank you, Curly, for being on this album and contributing. D2G, who is a collaborator who's done shows with us, dope MC from Chicago. Def C, of course, who like one of the best MCs to come out of Chicago easily in the last couple decades. One of the best songwriters, one of the best teachers, and then of course the best verse on the album. And I don't say that lightly because of what we've been talking about just within everybody within this crew. Jason Gatz like shamed me, with his verse, and I listened to it, and it's haunting, and I so wish that he was here in order to actually like hear the finished product of the album. But he put his whole soul into his verse, and like I would like, as beautiful as this album is and as beautiful as his verse is, I would totally give it back if I could have him back here in this world. But like that, I need people to hear it,
right?
So like, yeah, this album, there's definitely a different type of urgency, I'm looking forward to just seeing the feedback, and I'm glad that people are like getting it on Bandcamp already, and people are like looking forward to it and everything like that. I just need people to hear it. That to me is the most important thing.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. I mean, and that's it's so important to the fabric of it. That Jason Gatz verse is fantastic, and I was thinking about the Tomorrow Kings experience and through Salt. I was like, so sometimes, like on a normal rap album, a non-Tomorrow Kings rap album, you'll have a dynamite verse, and then somebody else comes in and their verse is good, and you're still thinking about the other verse, right? And like you get some time off. There's no time off. Everybody's verse is really intense and really good. But beyond that, within the verse, Tomorrow Kings doesn't have useless connector lines that get you to a better line. That's just not a fucking thing. Like, so it's not just every verse it's impactful, it's every bar. And over the course of the full album, it's a workout. Even as a listener, just to know, like to absorb everything. 13 songs. It's great listening for somebody who's like, I love lyrics. Well, here it is.
It's relentless in a way.
Yeah.
And what I like about, like, compared to other crew rap albums, what I like about Tomorrow Kings is it's not like others. Sometimes it can feel like a hot potato type of thing where it's like, okay, I got a verse. Okay, now it's your verse. Okay, now it's your verse. But I felt like every verse from every Tomorrow King kind of flowed in, like Dana was saying, kind of flowed into each other.
They were all where they were supposed to be. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I did kind of want to, because that kind of fascinated me. Like, how are songs organized?
If I could say this, I think the thing, and this was something I wanted to say earlier in a question you asked, or something we was just talking about as a collective with you, is that what made us kind of like fall in love with each other, you know, just as far as like when it comes to the art, is that we're all technicians, you know, and so we're very calculated in our approach. And so transition, which I think is a lost art, is very appreciated by us. We all grew up with the intermission, you know, the intermissions, the sequences, the little small snippets between each track, you know, in an album. And it was very calculated, like just even like when you hit to like when you hear Dilla beats, like you hear a beat, but then it's another beat that transitions to another beat. Like transitions means a lot to us. And so just the transitions of lyrics, we are very calculated. Like it wasn't a selfish approach and I'm just gonna say what I'm gonna say. Like if I heard Malakh's verse and he ended with a certain line, I'm consciously thinking about how do I come behind that line?
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? And transition it to the next thing. Sometimes it doesn't happen that way, but because we're so in sync and have chemistry, if I couldn't match the way I lyrically wrote it, I'm gonna match it the way my cadence sounds. Like that's how technical we are.
Mm.
Everything has to like feel natural. It has to feel organic. And so, you know, maybe brothers could give a different perspective of that, but like I truly believe like we are technicians at the highest level when it comes to that element.
Yeah,
And I
and
think
like
also,
and like building off that, just like real quick. There's a certain thing about the technical aspect because we on that for so long, it really comes natural. It's just well, this is kind of how we write, and that happens when we get together, and even when we're not together, and we're writing and we're working on tracks together. It just happens naturally. You know, I'm
right.
I'm gonna ride right now.
You breaking up. You breaking up, Gilly.
Can y'all hear me?
You still breaking up.
Still breaking up, yeah.
Hello? Okay, okay. Come back to me.
All
Come
right.
back to me.
Let me
I'm gonna just say yeah for now.
let me reframe the transition thing. Some while you were talking, I was thinking about what you said reminded me of because a lot of my memories is just like frozen DVD feature extras that I never forgot for some reason. And there was a bonus feature on I don't. There's a show called Mr. Show with Bob and David, right? Bob Odenkirk, David Cross, really important sketch comedy show. The writers' room was like the future of comedy, right? Um, and they were always they were obsessed with their transitions because everybody in the room knew how to make a good comedy sketch, right? So they had the good comedy sketches. The game was how can we get this sketch to transition to this sketch, right? And they used to stay up all night. Yeah, obviously they would bail out if they didn't. They had a bailout like option, but they didn't want to use it. They wanted to transition as much as they could. And it's if you watch those shows, they're different than any other sketch comedy show because of that.
You know, one thing I think that and I can concur with that idea of, you know, just really, really, really nerding out to the point where, you know, you have enough of a library in your brain to, you know, and also working with people with a similar library, a similar lexicon, you know, of like in your example, sketch comedy, But for us, like we're all audiophiles.
Mhm.
We're all like nerds of this. I remember there was a VH1 Behind the Music for Metallica, and I think the bass player at the time, he was just like, like we are fans first, you know. Like I mean, people love our shit, but we're fans of this first. So like we have so much just built up, you know, understanding of just what we've listened to and also like what brought us together as a crew, you know. And with this album especially, it being I guess like 9 years after Time Machine, as far as being made, and now like 14 years later coming out, um, you know, are that's even more stored data of like sound, and just evolution of what's going on in music that we're like, okay, if we get another chance to do an album together, this is what we're gonna add in, this is what we're gonna put in, this is what we're gonna try, this is what we're gonna like just see what we can put together, just so that we can outdo the last album, but also just so that we can just like push the envelope a little bit more in hopes
Right.
that it inspire people.
Yeah. No, that's the love, right? The love is what makes you want to polish that when no one else is going to see that level of polish potentially.
Right.
Um,
Right.
so that's real. That's absolutely it. Yeah. Kay, did you have any favorite song runs on Salt?
So
I'm debating.
yes, my favorite run was 678 Red Summer, Barbarian Butter, and B-side Losers.
All right, that was my and I was gonna say 5, 6, 7. I think Salt itself is one of the most important uh
Yes, it is.
songs.
Yes, it is.
It
Yes, yes.
usually when the title track of the title of the album is a non-rap song, and it's like uh I don't know, the album's called Death on Earth, and the Death on Earth track is just fucking wind chimes for 30 seconds, and I'm like, I hate you, this sucks.
It's fucking amazing.
But and that's me being grumpy, but like this when I'm Salt it comes with spoken word, and I'm like, holy shit, this is the centerpiece of the whole thing. Like, you really need Salt. So 5, 6, 7 was my original thought, but right now I'm thinking 9, 10, 11, man. Devil Woke Up Early, Stains, To Her Body Still is, man, that's hard.
I
That's
actually
like
have to agree
that's
with
the
you on that one.
entropy, man.
I
That's
get stuck on those three whenever I listen to it. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, that's like near the end of the movie, the climax. I love that stuff, man. Um, yeah, it's Barbarian Butter is such a nasty song. That's such a fucking banger. I love that shit. Yeah, it's
Yeah, Barbarian Butter is gritty.
yeah,
It's just gritty.
right. And it's yeah, I was thinking about it. I know you guys have gotten a lot of Wu-Tang comparisons over time, and I know you guys love that. But I would say for me, I was thinking of it more like Hyro. Like I was definitely
I really appreciate that.
I was thinking of it like because Hyro collectively they had a personality, right? But individually they were all doing their own thing, you know. But and all the pieces came together really well whenever they did songs together. Um, I think it was Gilead's fault that I had that comparison. I was listening to Virgo Twins, and I was like, Gilead is my pep love. I love Gilead, um, and that kicked me off in that direction. But um, yeah, it's good
Respect.
times. Yeah, man. No, it's also okay. The number 11, Her Body Still. There's no
Yes.
other song on the album like that. That's a very different tone that is like it's quiet and creepy and fun. I love that shit. I love it.
Yes.
That song is
I loved.
hilarious.
I mean, it was just a creative because you see the title and you're intrigued by the song, and I just thought it was such a great. I did think that was a great song. I mean, I thought the whole ending of the album, from
Right.
Her Body Still, Thoughts Most Intrusive to the News, was also great. It's just a great project all around.
Yeah. There's really good moments when like I don't know, maybe it was on No Brands, where like we get the swing of structure and he's doing it, he's hitting us with lines and grooves, and then Sketch comes and pummels right after. And I'm like, oh, this is great. This is peanut butter and chocolate. We're doing it, you know. Uh, when the
I mean,
skills
you can
align.
definitely see the growth in the chemistry
Yeah. Yeah.
uh, of the team.
And mind you, again, like this is us in different cities.
Right.
So
Right.
you're hearing chemistry built over a series of years, and then us coming together virtually and sending each other like verses. And like this is something that Sketch said in another interview, but I think it's relevant. We didn't really hear the combination pieces. Like we didn't hear the finishing songs until afterwards. So like we submitted it and then we had to hear what the finishing product was.
Yeah, and it was a lot of like they know me. I call and spit my verses.
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Awesome.
like I'll call them like, yo, what you up to? Let me spit this for you. and, and I did
Yep.
that, and I did that a lot, And we also WhatsApp has been incredible for us, to be honest. Again, thank you, Malakh, for suggesting it all those years ago. And like sending demos, sending one-off verses. Because one thing, like that when we were talking about the structure transitions, we also kind of know when we write something and know it's supposed to be the first verse on a song, or when the verse doesn't sound like the first verse, it should probably go later, or when you have the one that's the ending verse and all that. So, like we would hear people's verses and go, you know what, mine should go after Collasoul, or Focus should go right here, or somebody go, you know what, I think I need to go first, or this doesn't make sense unless it's the last verse. So, along with technique, like because of how we communicate and the fact that like we just talk to each other a lot, we kind of have a rapport where we can be able to parse these things out. I just wanted to add that in real quick.
Yeah. I mean that makes sense. The other thing I would have as a question to go get, because this is one of the things that makes this such a special record. You guys talked about how across doing it across states and building chemistry in different places, but with all the members that you have, with everyone staying aligned on the concept of salt, right? The concept of like this food rotting our bodies, this trauma rotting our emotions, right? Like this all happening like that, to stay aligned on that and have everybody doing these verses that build that story. Uh, I don't think there's a lot of people who could do that.
I'm gonna be honest with you, like as seamless as it might come across to you, it's already in our fabric. And I say that because of our chemistry, I think that is a testament to why it sounds so inclusive. It sounds so integrated. It sounds so intentional, but like we come from the same thing. We come from the same habitat. We come from the same environment. We come from the same thought process. So like even though all of our styles are different, even if we know it or not, we all kind of have the same objective thought. We kind of already have the same like meeting place. We have the same finishing line. Like no matter what I do, I know I need to finish here. Like no matter what I do, I know that based on what everybody said, I need to meet them here.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so like it wasn't like believe it or not, a lot of the songs wasn't as calculated as it was done and how it was received. But because of our love for each other and because of our intentionality, it was delivered authentically from the essence of what it should be.
Right.
And that is what art should be if you are collaborating with people.
You can't undersell how important love is, right? And to your point, you pour your heart out into a verse, you send it to the guys, it's a skipping stone. It causes ripples because of the shared experiences. They know exactly what you're talking about. And they know what their variation of that is. And now they're adding that in, and it becomes even bigger, but of the same character. That's special. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot that happens that really, even though like this is, the rap element of hip hop is of course a vocal element, a verbal element of language, a verbal language element, but there are things that are happening amongst us that really can't even be put into words because we, kind of like Focus said, it's a fabric, but it's who we are. It's in the same way that you don't always think about the room that gives your bed or your computer the possibility to exist in that realm. But if there was no room, then every object that you have in front of you would kind of collapse, or it'd be no place for it. That's kind of the way I think our writing vibe is, and that's why, we everywhere geographically,
Mm-hmm.
but it sounds like we're in the same room, and in the ways, and I even would say that the chemistry on Salt is elevated from that on NRTM, and many of us were in the same room.
Right.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yep.
Yeah.
I can tell you this. What's really cool too is that Aoi, the only person who has actually met him in person is Sketch. We've never met him in person. Only Sketch has in New York. What, like 10 plus years ago?
No, actually that particular time was 6 years ago.
6?
Mm.
Within 10 years.
I had known him for 14.
Yeah.
It's
crazy.
But also I was just texting with him about 5 minutes ago. He said, "What's up?"
Yep.
Peace. Shout out to Aoi.
Jeez.
Yeah.
He met us part of the way with this, and he actually helped sequence the record. And he's what, like 20,000, 200,000 miles away, wherever you know what I mean, in Australia, like so far away, but he's connected with us. He could hear it. He knew where we were going with it, and met us part of the way, which is very, very impressive. I have to say, like he produced it and he mixed it himself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was the labor of love, but it was definitely labor.
Oh yeah,
Like,
we definitely drove him nuts. But
Yeah.
I mean, he loves us for it. I hope.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Like he's very proud of the project. Like it's it's an incredible work. And
It is.
it's good to see, and honestly, he was the type of producer that we always wanted to work with. But really kind of came up, really was at the forefront of trying to collaborate. So it was good to like finally get somebody that kind of matched all the elements of us as MCs.
Mhm.
Well, a lot of the elements of us as MCs. When we're together.
Yeah, it's not the best producers are not just providing beats. They are like directing a story forward, and they're like they can see what the script is trying to get to and they're visualizing it. And I think that's awesome. That's special.
And real quick, I'm trying to say it in 30 seconds. It takes a lot to um deal with the type of picture that we were painting
Right.
because it's in my mind it's very specific. You know, people will try to go, "Hey, you kind of sound like this, you kind of sound like that." Look, no, fuck that. You sound like Chicago, and you're getting that. You can hear it in the accent. You can hear it in the structure. You can hear it in the rhyme pattern. You can hear it in the flow, the way we go to the beats. So on and so forth. And you hear the pain. You hear like the type of shit that like black men born in the '80s had to deal with. And he's from on the other side of the country, other side of the world. So I salute him for like spending all those countless hours hearing these verses and having to rewind and listen to these verses and figure out how to accent the shit that we're saying. Because that's a lot.
Mhm.
That's a lot. Yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
I think a hidden jewel in the creation of the project was the quarantine itself because I mean, you had so many external influences, right? Like your very life was at risk. You know what I'm saying? Like you could have went outside to get the mail,
Right.
and that been the last time you went to go get the mail. You know what I mean? Like so, you had that as an element, and then you also had the wisdom that comes from just being in your own head for a prolonged period of time, right? Like something always comes out. It's just a matter of what, right? So, it allowed for the topics and the verses to be far more concentrated because now we're playing for accuracy. We're not playing for points. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Deep,
it's
deep
great.
point. Deep point.
Because I know that, I don't know what everybody else's experience was like during quarantine,
Mhm.
but it wasn't rainbows and flowers and just it wasn't a good time, you know. There was those dark moments where you had to really sit up and wonder, like, man, how long am I really going to be stuck in the house? Like, and how long before civilization collapsed? Like, serious questions had to come across the mind. So that made having something to say on salt that much more critical. That's just my 2 cents on that.
That's a great. Yeah, I think that's great. Uh, Kay, do you have anything else? I was going to go to recommendation corner.
No, I'm good.
Yep. No, accuracy instead of points. So that's where we leave it. I would say the so I want to go recommendation corners where we just talk about what we're listening to. Everybody buy Salt. Everybody follow Tomorrow Kings. But for me, so when I'm digging into something, I tend to find the musical opposite of it and mix it in so I have a healthy brain going. So with the intensity of Tomorrow Kings, I was listening to a lot of Olivia Dean's new album, The
Oh
Art of
wow.
Loving. And it's interesting. It's I thought it was going to be an R&B album, uh, recommended to me by somebody who loves kind of soul and R&B. And it seemed like it at first, but it seemed a little different, you know? I was like, this isn't really rock. This is what is this? And the more I listened to it, I was like, oh shit, this is like a 90s a 90s Bonnie Raitt album.
Hmm.
Fascinating. Okay.
It's warm and sensual, but it's also like bluesy when it's painful. It's really unique in this era. And there's a song on it that I can't listen to once. Like I have to listen to it twice if I put it on. It's a couple minutes. Number 11. Really beautiful. So that's recommendation. The other one just comes from my. I was on YouTube. Music videos came up. A Young Chris song came up, and it was great. And my son was like, "This guy's rapping like J. Cole," and I'm like, "No, no, 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 calm down." I was like, "Calm down." The, J. Cole copied the guy who copied him. Relax. Let me explain. So I explained the Young Chris flow and it's the whole thing. And so it got me listening to The Network from 2017, skillfully put together by Don Cannon. Man, Don Cannon really changed my shit. I love Don Cannon. And it's just super fun, man. There's, songs, Beanie Siegel's all over it, Freeway's all over it. Petey Crack is there's a song called Hot Shit with Young Chris, Petey Crack, and Black Thought. That's good times. That's good times.
That's the most Philly shit I've ever heard of.
Right? Right? You can't beat that shit. So it's great. Everybody on here knows that Chris has a special flow, and they all want to be with it. So it's a fun list. Yeah. Who else? Who else has been listening to stuff? What do you guys got? Malakh,
I know I'm a big indie head, man. Like, so, you know, I ain't gonna hold you. Like, I'm really big on like Masego and like Sir right now. Like,
Yeah.
it's very good for backs. I like when things are like well written, right? Like, I don't really care as much about the genre it holds itself accountable to so much as is it well written? Like, it's all about the mechanics, you know. Because that tell you something that the words don't, right? Like it's the space that the word creates that I be looking for, that space in between, the nuance, right? Like so, yeah, definitely Sir and Masego right now.
I love both of those. Yeah. That's a great recommendation.
Hey, you stay in your R&B bag, Malak. You killed
Oh,
me,
for sure,
man.
because you know Griselda is everything else for me right now. You understand? It's like that's the counterbalance. You know what I'm saying? Like that's really where I'm at right now.
That's a good
Speaking
mix.
of,
You go from Stove God to Masego. You're doing stuff. Your playlist is doing stuff.
What have I
that's
been?
kind of
Got to
crazy.
do it.
What have I been bumping recently? A lot of because I'm actually my brother and I we have a record store. So that's actually where I'm standing right now. I've been listening to a lot of Allman Brothers
Oh, I
recently.
love the fucking Olney Brothers.
You know, shout out to Dwayne. I mean, one of the greatest ever.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
Really enjoy it. I mean, a lot of jazz as well. I'm kind of in my Sun Ra mood right now. Various albums. Just not just soul one. I'm forgetting the title of it. It's a really rare impulse one. That's been that's been pretty dope. Looking forward to the new Armand Hammer coming out
Oh yeah.
on
Mercy. Yeah.
on Friday. That's going to be.
Mhm.
I picked up a few of those for the shop, and there will be a copy of Salt too. No, I'm only selling one in the shop because we don't really have many left. So if you're listening and I don't know when this is going to come out, but if it comes out before the weekend, stop on by 123 South Minnesota Avenue in St. Peter, Minnesota. Come on out. What else? What else am I playing? I got a copy of that new Tunnel Rats record, Legacy. That's one of my favorite crews. Shout out to all them. Journey Big, one of the dopest ever. He got a few verses on there. Yeah.
So, those are great recommendations. Great. Yeah. I love that. Collasoul, what do you listen to?
I'm always listening to something, as we know. I'll tell you what. Every time we have a show coming up very, very soon, because we have a new like gyroscope show next Friday on the 14th with Mr. Quelle Chris and Psalm 1.
What?
So I'm listening to yeah, exactly. I saw your shirt. I was like, yes.
I see
Love that
too.
fucking album, actually.
I see too.
Um, Listen to a shit ton of gyroscope, actually. I know it sounds very tasteless to say that, but I don't care.
No, no,
Because we have to be as
Say
sharp as
that.
possible.
Say that.
We got to be as sharp as possible. So we're listening to Happy Medium all the way through 100 times a day
love
because we
Happy
performed
Meal.
it all the way through, and I'm like terrified to screw some words up. Also listening to Overdue because we got to know that too. But aside from that, I have been listening to Yukimi from Little Dragon. She dropped 2 solo records that are really fucking good, and I feel like they're gonna go under the radar, but that's okay. because somebody will find them. They're actually really, really good. The production of both projects are really good. And she always kind of dips in between like a neo soulish kind of thing and like something a little bit more alt, a little bit more like alternative. So and her writing is always good. So yeah, that's what I'm listening
And
to.
that's YUKIMI, right? Or is it?
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
I'm with you. I'm adding it.
Yep.
I'm adding it. I know you guys don't play when it comes to the recommendations. Yeah. So it was funny. I was actually on Call Out Culture as a guest, and we were talking about Innocent Country 2, and I was like, that this album was the dividing line where we need to stop talking about how Chris is doing right now, and we need to start talking about where he is in the all-time greats.
Yep.
Like,
Yep.
it's not
Agreed.
a matter of
Yeah, I agree.
good year. Like, it's where is this person next
Yeah.
to, Ice Cube? Like, we're talking about real shit. So yeah, I'm with you. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
I I find myself leaning more towards jazz majority of the time. So like I'm gonna call out a great that changed form in 2022, Pharaoh Sanders,
Mm,
um Makaya McCraven,
Oh
and
yeah.
yeah.
Yep.
I shouted out this person last time when you interviewed Gyroscope, Yusef Days from the
Yeah.
UK. He's
That
an
messed me up.
amazing drummer.
Mhm.
Um, but I just been really really into jazz. Like jazz just has just been very calming for me.
Yep.
Just like when it comes to just the meditation mode and commute. So yeah, those are a few that I just been really gravitating to outside of rap. Like when it comes to rap, I think it's more of just like me being prepared
Right.
to perform as rock as Collasoul said, just as far as like this show coming up. Um, but yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I mean,
Still
one of my
rocking with that.
favorite answers to an interview question in hip hop was when somebody asked Rakim what he listens to, and this was in the '80s, and he said me and jazz, and I was like, that's hard. That's hard. Me and jazz. Fantastic. Subliminal. What are you listening to? Oh,
That's a good question. What am I listening to right now? Hmm. You know what? I just listened to Supreme Clientele too. Driving home
oh,
from
okay.
work, and I mean, those faces is Hall of Fame. You're the most, productive member of the crew, album wise. But there's two songs that stand out. One where he literally raps over Commodore's, you know, Far Away From Here, because he's famous for just rapping over a full song as opposed to sampling, right? And it's a good moment on the album, especially for like a maturing MC and like a this is obviously for like older hip hop listeners,
Sure.
just to kind of like reminisce on those days, right, when that was the thing of sampling, But there's a song with him and Meth called "You My Friend,"
Mm,
and both of them have an interesting little relationship just within the collective. Like they've argued on documentaries, stuff like that, right? And obviously there's some competitiveness to it, and I like the fact that he chose to have him on that song, right? And just from being in the collective, and like you talked about the Wu Tang comparison earlier, like anybody who's in group more than three people in hip hop, you obviously gonna think about Wu Tang. But you don't really have a collective like this unless there's like real camaraderie, unless there's real friendship.
right.
Um, one of the things that kept us grounded, especially when we first officially started the crew. We was like, we got to get together once a week and just, kick it. Just, whether we working on music, whether we just nerding out and complaining about, what we don't like, whether we like look at a movie or something. And the reason why we did that is because that's what the Roots did, and it seems like a simple thing, but at the same time, that like grounding effect is what has like held us together, up until this time. And we went through transitions, we lost a couple members, you know what I'm saying, and who are like still have like friendship and camaraderie with. Shout out to Lamar Manuel, shout out to DJC now, but like the mission still remains and the crew still remains. So yeah, I mean, other than that, I'm always just listening to like instrumentals or just like listening to Sade, man. Like I listen to like what has always fed me, right? And if something new comes out that catches my ear, then I'm like, all right, cool. Like Collasoul bringing up lead singer Lil Dragon. I didn't even know she put out albums. I'm about to look those up. Listen to those probably tomorrow.
Bang.
So,
Absolutely.
yeah.
That works for me. Yeah, that's great. Any sketch? Did you go? No.
Not yet. Not yet. Yeah, I think for me recently I've been listening to the lady Anika a lot. She used to be on Stones Throw. She kind of was like a modern version of Nico, but she has a new album that's kind of on the post punky side of things, and it's dope. Like it's Nico meets Bauhaus, called Abyss. That's really good. I just started getting into Destroyer for the first time, so I've been listening to a lot of Destroyer lately. And other than that, Micaiah McCraven I bartend, so I throw on a lot of music. A lot of Micaiah McCraven and Shabaka Hutchins. You know, in terms of rap, Silk Money is really who I've been listening to a lot lately.
His last album was fucking incredible.
It's amazing.
Oh boy.
He said, "I divide the universe into equal parts with the cosmic. Oh, I divide the cosmic egg into equal parts to make the universe." Bitch ass nigga. And I was like, that is the smartest shit in such a quick moment. And he does that all over. It's great. It's like it's the rap that I love. And Elusive was actually the person that put me on to him.
Yeah.
Funny enough. And other than that, like shoot, I just was listening to The Prodigy a lot recently.
Silk Money.
And
sorry.
Silk Money, with a dollar sign out of Richmond, Virginia.
Yeah, no, Silk Money. I was listening to him being interviewed because it's very unique. The music's very unique, and it's very smart. But on the interview, he was talking about how much he loved 50 Cent and kind of grew up 50
Okay.
Cent. And I was like, oh, okay, I can see this is like the thinking about the universe pulled through somebody who came up on Window Shopper. Like, it's like, okay, that makes sense. Like, there's still that edge where Silk Money will mush you if you're out of step. But like,
Yeah.
thinking about the world, it's really cool. It's really good.
Yeah, he's very detailed, which
Yes.
is something I always like. And other than that, I started listening to a record from 11 years back by Buck of Psychodrama, like one of the Chicago legends. His album, The Deep End. Like even as a Chicago record, it kind of went underappreciated.
Yeah.
And like it's just one of the most masterful flows of any rapper ever. Flat out. It's just insane. Like his ability to rap is just incredible.
So much style, man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
he's
slept on.
he's one of the fathers of Summit Chicago style. There are a few of them, but he's one of them. Like Psychodrama is one of the most respected groups out of Chicago. Within Chicago,
Mhm.
they used to be signed to Swab House. Yeah, so that's really what I've been listening to lately.
I added that one. I got to check that out. I'm excited to hear that. So, Kay, what have you been rocking with?
So rap wise, I actually have a recommendation. My friend from Buffalo sent over Shay Noir and the other guys. They did a project called No Validation.
Yes, it's good.
One of my favorite projects of the year.
That's yeah. Shane Noir is great. Does great.
Yeah.
Shay Noir is great.
Absolutely. Yeah. I was in our local record store in Maine is called Bull Moose.
Yeah.
I was in Bull Moose Music and I was in the rap section and it was fun to see like people I'd interviewed in the rap section. I was like, wow. And then I look up Sean Kantrowitz, who was a guest on the show, had his hip hop trivia game right in the rap section. I was like, oh shit, that's cool. So I copped it and I let my son know we had another hip hop trivia game, but it was pretty basic. You know, it was who did the message? You know, you're okay. I was like, this is going to be a lot of steps up from that. Like this is in depth shit. And I was fully expecting to quit. I was quizzing my wife and son, and I was expecting them to take L's. They did really well. They did really well.
That's
My
dope.
wife quoted a verse to answer a question. I was just like, damn, look at you. That was awesome.
I love it.
Yeah, the family hip hop's together. You can't beat that.
That's great. I mean, I say like I figure everybody, the Cruise kids, know how to rap. At least what I hear.
Mm-hmm. Some of them are featured on the record. Like
soon coming.
Yeah.
It's on the Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing I do, by the way, is I keep a running list in my phone of crazy rap names. And when there's downtime with my family, I'll ask them which is the better name, and I'll give them two wild candidates, and we'll vote collectively. It's fun. You know, when we're waiting in the ER or something, it kills time. So what else? Very exciting podcast covering hip hop that I want everybody to listen to, subscribe to, go to the Patreon. It's called What's Up with the Minutes. 3 hosts, Mega from Secret House, Cozy, and Trey Does. So, and this is very intergenerational. These are all people who know a ton about the music, all people who've been on the show, like, because they're brilliant in different ways. And when they got together based on that friendship and formed their own, they set each other's best characteristics off in this beautiful way. They're on episode 6 right now. Ratman Gavin is the guest. And it's beautiful. This is great. A lot of knowledge there. A lot of fearless discussion. A lot of fun jokes. It's a great hang. Yeah, look it up. What's Up with the Minutes? Follow those guys on socials. Yeah. And appreciate it. Okay, follow Tomorrow Kings. Buy the Virgo Twins record.
Hymns out as well. You got Skashy left nothing for the swim back. Like it's a bunch.
Stock up.
Stock up.
And again, shout out to Curly Castro. He was the one saying Gyroscope is one of the best groups in the world. And I was like, all right, let me dig in. So that's,
love, man. Love.
Yeah. So, yeah. Shout out to everybody and blowing kisses to Chicago.
What will tomorrow